Have your parents ever showed you a picture of what they looked like when they were your age and you wondered why they looked so much older even though they were the same age as you? This may be accredited to the fact that since then, many people would say that the aging process has slowed, and it may also have to do with the fact that many discoveries, studies, and change in habits have occurred over time that the medical world has been able to influence. According to Dorothy Rice, a professor at Emirates Institute for Health and Aging, the U.S. spending in healthcare was $4.3 trillion so far in 2023, which makes up 1/5 of the U.S.'s GDP. That's like spent for every $1 you spend, 20 cents of it was on your healthcare. Today, I'm going to talk about the medical industry and its advancements. In the past, healthcare was completely unregulated and health insurance was non-existent. With this being said, according to the CDC, in the year 1900, the expected life expectancy was only 47 years of age. Today, that number lies at 77 for U.S. citizens. If this same 66% increase were to occur over the same period now, by the year 2246, the average lifespan of a U.S. citizen would reach 127 years of age. So what occurred in this time for this to happen? Most of this can be thanked to the decreased mortality rate of newborn babies and their mothers with many advancements such as IVF or the obstetric ultrasound or the prenatal diagnosis. And ironically, the legislation of abortion in the 20th century was actually able to increase life expectancy for the population in women. Other than childbirth, more intangible things also began to occur in the 1950s. As for after the war, being healthy and being cleanliness have become trendy during that time in a way. And as were seen as commonplace then, as they were not in the past. Things such as mopping, dusting, and vacuuming were commonplace and occurred every day during this time, as people had more times on their hand and more of a lifestyle of kind of being in the home took place. And lastly, research was starting to come out about the dangers of things such as smoking and the ingestion of other chemicals, which has gradually been phased out of society, but since then people have still figured out other ways to do similar things. In today's world, medical technology is at its peak and has been made a priority in Western civilization. With the new treatments being created very quickly in the U.S. when the U.S. has been faced with medical crises. Within the last 5 years, things like the COVID-19 vaccine was able to be created and distributed very quickly across the entirety of the country, and was able to treat its users very effectively when it came to the effect that the virus had on the user. According to the National Library of Medicine, vaccination marginally reduced adverse outcomes with non-ICU hospitalizations, ICU hospitalizations, and deaths decreasing by 63.5, 65.6, and 69.3% respectively. This decrease in patients would be similar to removing 13 people from this class. The vaccines only were created in a little under 12 months, which is the fastest creation of a vaccine, as opposed to before that, which the mumps virus took 4 years to make in the 1960s. This comparison is a very good example of the direct increase that the medical industry has shown from the 20th century into the 21st. Now, I'll share a story about medical treatments and how they've affected the lives of individuals. A patient named Deborah, who had been diagnosed with breast cancer, was instated at the Washington University of Medicine, and the doctors there were able to use the fact that African American women have much more severe cases of breast cancer, and based off that, they were able to change her treatment and catered more towards the individual and remove the cancer from her entirely. This shows how treatment has evolved from a more generalized level, looking at how it affects all people as a whole, to how the person affects the virus and how it comes back to them. So, in conclusion, the increased progression and determination of the healthcare industry has been able to greatly better the lives of the American people. With things such as spending and more focus coming on the patient than the problem, I'm sure we'll find more improvements being made in the future in this field and more spending. With that being said, I'd like to leave you with a quote from Sharon Bedgley. Somewhere, something incredible is waiting to be known. Thank you.